Hey everyone, my name is Mike Fiscus. I'm with Slammers Baseball. I'm one of the recruiting coordinators who's going to be kind of helping your sons out with the recruiting process this year and going forward. One of three of us. I've been through the recruiting process with about 3 different classes here at Slammers myself. Had most of my guys from each of those 3 classes continue on to some form of college baseball. I have a fairly well established network of collegiate coaches and recruiters that I can call on, as we all 3 of us do, that is going to help assist us and assist you in the recruiting process. Partly what I'm going to be doing in the recruiting process is a little more of the behind-the-scenes administrative stuff, helping with the organization, helping teach your sons and you as the players what the process is and how to kind of go through the process.
I had a very committed roster this past summer and fall. We had 16 guys on the roster. All 16 of them took an active role in their recruiting process. I helped them along the way, recommending certain things for them to look at or schools to look at. I told them to get a hold of any school they wanted to, and if that coach responded to them, that I would have no problem talking to that coach. I talked to several. For all 16 kids, I probably talked to a school for at least all 16 of them, if not more, several times. All 16 of those players ended up committing this fall to a program. The best advice I can give you is not to feel pressured that you need to commit early. Those guys all committed in the fall of their senior year. We had 1 player out of those 16 commit in the summer. So do not feel that pressure that, oh, it's my sophomore season, it's my junior season, I have to commit. You really don't. Give the time, or give the process time.
I'm Garrett Duman. I'm one of the recruiting coordinators. My job's a little bit different than Mike and Scott from the standpoint of I kind of consider myself from the technological side. As far as the recruiting process goes, I'm kind of focused more on the aesthetics, meaning how do we make you look and how do we present you to prospective colleges. I've been really fortunate in my coaching career. I've coached over 100 players who have gone on to play in college, but I've seen the ins and outs of the recruiting process and think that there's a lot that I can contribute.
Grades are a vital part of your recruiting process. The higher GPA you have, the easier it is to get into any school. Schools are going to track your academic process or your academic progress as you go through high school. They'll want to know if you can handle the rigors of college, a college schedule along with a practice schedule. You need to make sure you're going to remain eligible. Academics are a vital part of your recruiting process. The higher grades you have, the more schools you can get into.
I really utilize the sports recruits and the field level databases. Sports recruits has a very easily searchable database once you kind of understand how to get through it. And within that database, it lists all the schools across the whole country, every division that we play at. And you can find contact information. You can find information about the school itself, what kind of majors they offer, population size, demographics, your monetary expectations. There's so much data within that sports recruits profile when you're starting to search for schools that can help you narrow down and find schools that would be good fits. Establish a list of target schools. When you go into sports recruits, you're able to create a list of schools that you are interested in. Part of this process, we need to make sure that we are listing and selecting schools that are kind of dream schools, if you will, the schools that are realistic schools given our abilities, our academic performance, what our monetary expectations may be, and also schools that may be fallback schools if we don't get into any of these schools or the opportunity doesn't present itself quite like we want it to. So within the sports recruits database, you can actually search and categorize those schools in that order. Going to the head coach is not always the most direct, best way to go about initiating this contact. Sometimes you need to get on to the websites and find out who the recruiting coordinators are. The recruiting coordinators are usually one of the assistants. Follow up with them. Follow up with the college coaches, but don't badger them too. If you have enough interest and it is a likely fit, they're going to reach back to you. But if it's not, you may not hear anything. First and foremost, as a player, this is directed to the players. As a player, want to make sure that you are creating your own communication. Parents, be involved, but don't be doing this for them. They are not recruiting you as the parent, they're recruiting the player. They also are evaluating you as the parent as part of the recruitment process of the player. So don't hinder your son by going and doing all of their communication for them. In any of your communication, whether it be written or oral communication, if you're going to be writing a lot of stuff, make sure that you're proofreading everything. Not just you as individually, have your parents proofread things. You can't do enough to make sure that the communication is going to be clear and concise and how it needs to be. It's very easy to kind of write emails in the way that we may speak to one another, but that's not necessarily how you're presenting yourself to these college coaches and college recruiters. So write an email, but have multiple people proofread it for you. Okay, so we're trying to hook these college coaches in their interest and reel them in so that they can start a discussion with us, and then we can start really extolling our virtues and what our playing abilities are, what our academic abilities are, and those types of things. 18 paragraphs long in your first initial communication. It's short, sweet, to the point. After you've made initial contact, you've reached out, and you may have not had anything back to you. You may not have any communication coming back your way. Again, don't be frustrated by it. Don't be worried by it. We've had different instances of where guys have reached out on multiple occasions, not heard anything back. They've sent tournament lists of where they're going to be playing, and all of a sudden, said college coach just appears at the tournament without any communication to come specifically see that player.
All right, let's talk about realistic expectations when it comes to choosing a school or having a school look into you and see if you're going to fit in their program. Understand that everyone is on a different path. Don't worry about your teammates or other players. Just worry about you and take your own path, and this is a unique experience for you. Take an honest evaluation on yourself. Take a look at where you fit. What does your body look like? What type of athlete are you? What is your body? What does your athleticism project? Are you 5'6"? Are you 6'3"? Do you lift? Lifting is a huge part of being realistic with expectations. You need to be in the gym as much as you are on the field. We all want to go to Vandy or ASU. Are you a 90-plus guy? Is your exit velocity in the 90s? Be realistic in your evaluation of the school. What kind of players does that school recruit? What do those bodies look like? What athleticism do those players have? What do they do on the field? Where are they from? Do they recruit at a certain region? Do they recruit out of Colorado? When you're being realistic in your expectations, you need to also think about, am I okay going to this school and sitting for a year or two? Do I want to play right away? That should be our main goal when we're looking at an honest evaluation of where you're going to end up at school. To me, the number one thing is getting to play at the next level. Understand at different levels, like a lot of players go into Division I expecting to play all the time because they've played all through high school. That chances of that are not as highly unlikely as you think. Do you feel you're a high-level Division I player? If so, are you mentally prepared to put in the work at practice in the weight room and still have to sit that first year or first two until you get your opportunity? Are you willing to go out and take that opportunity and get yourself on the field? In your honest evaluation, are you a player that wants to play right away? Hopefully you do want to play right away. Are you okay with going to a Division II so you can play right away, or a Division III, or head the JUCO route? Just trying to get as many reps and as much on the field as possible to take that next step and get to the higher level. Remember, only 11% of high school baseball players move on to play at the next level. And out of that 11%, only about 2.5% of that play Division I baseball.
Once you've initiated contact and you do get some contact back from one of these college coaches, there's certain things that we need to make sure that we're going through when we respond back to them, either via email, phone call, face-to-face. Contacted by a school that you're not even interested in. Somebody may have seen you play somewhere. Somebody got your name out of one of the thousands of databases that all of our names are listed in now through all the tournaments that we go to. Even if this school is not a school that you're interested in, you still need to respond back to that contact. Even if it's kind of short and sweet, just saying, hey, coach, thank you for your interest. I'll keep you updated as we go along. Have a great day. Something simple like that. If you don't respond, it reflects badly upon you. These college coaches is a network. They all talk to one another. They may pass your name on. They may move from another school that you weren't interested in to another school that you are interested in. It also reflects badly upon us as an organization. It reflects upon you as a player. It reflects upon your parents as well. You get contacted, make sure that you contact back. Make sure we're having a professional response. Okay? It's not your buddy. Just because this guy has emailed you back, he is not your buddy right now. He is a coach that's potentially interviewing you to see if you fit for that program. Be humble and yet, be confident in your communication as well. Again, email, face-to-face, on the phone. Don't be cocky about yourself. Be confident about yourself. There's a difference. But yet be humble and be willing to learn, be willing to listen, because their processes may be somewhat different than what you're used to at your high school or us with Slammers as well. At the end, make sure that you thank them for their time, because they did invest their time into speaking to you. They did invest their time in sending out an email to you. You need to do right and honor their time by responding back, by being professional, by being polite, by being thankful for the opportunity to be able to speak to them. Much of the recruiting having been going on in the last year and going forward is proving to be done virtually. It's proving to be done online through these sites. College coaches are realizing the viability of it, that they actually do some pretty decent recruiting through video analysis, through communication with club coaches, with high school coaches. There's a lot of recruiting that is being done that way. It's beneficial all the way around for them and for us, as long as we are very diligent in what we are doing and getting a good quality video, good quality profile, making us look good, presenting ourselves.
So I think for me, as far as the recruiting aspect and where, my niche kind of comes in, really goes back a year. And when I think about when COVID hit, and I really had all the time in the world, and so did college coaches, I was thinking to myself, well, what do we do to really help get our kids in basically the Denver metro area seen on a national scale? Obviously, video became really important with the dead period and coaches not able to necessarily go out and see games. So I did a ton of research. I talked to as many coaches as I could, and I kind of put together, what I thought are the combination of technology and video with the right angles and the right drills and the right form that college coaches want to see. Live game footage is always good, but it only goes so far from the standpoint of it's behind a fence. It's oftentimes shaky and blurry. Hard for coaches to see necessarily the competition you're facing and different things like that, where it's important to have those skill set videos or showcase videos. And obviously we've kind of mastered here the right angles, the right drills, and the right metrics that we want to get on video and to showcase you to these prospective college coaches who, whether they can get out or not, we want to give them a reason to get out and actually see you.
We need to be able to understand what the personal communication is versus the impersonal communication. Personal communication, either via email, via letter, actual phone call, is going to be very specific and very pointed to you as the athlete. The impersonal communication will lack certain things, especially on an email. Dear player, or not even an addressed to you specifically. It's not signed by a head coach. It's not even really extolling anything about you having seen you play anywhere. Just it may be an instance where your name was called from one of the databases. The emails that you receive may state that they want you to come to your camp, but they don't say anything specific to you. That may be a little bit more of the impersonal, trying to generate revenue for their camps. Both are nice to receive, but a personalized letter, a personalized email, a personalized phone call shows genuine interest and deserves that recognition and that potential follow-up.
What is the best way for me to be seen and for a coach to like me? The answer to that is to go to top level tournaments and to be seen. I mean, that's 100%. That's the best way for you to be recruited. What's another step in the recruiting process? There are, and I put them in two different categories. There are camps, which are typically held by the specific school or college themselves. And then there are showcases. How do I know what camp to go to? Number one, if you've been invited, if it's been a personal invite. Now, understand the difference. And I know Mike talked about, a generalized email that's, hey, player, because they do use those camps as fundraisers. They also use them for recruiting in a big way. Again, economics comes into play here. You can't afford to go to every camp that you're invited to. So how do you decide? If money is not the option and you have a dream school, I say 100% go to a camp over a showcase. Number one, a camp will give you that intimate setting, one-on-one with the coaching staff, where they get to see you. They'll run you through their kind of practices and their drills, and they'll probably do a scrimmage and see how you do in a game setting. Showcases are not the end-all be-all for, you being recruited. So if you have to choose between a camp and a showcase, I say go to the camp every single time. Like I said, you're going to be in front of college coaches, you're going to be on campus, you're going to be around other players who want to go to that school too, right? So you're being able to compete with them and match up directly with them. Showcases typically have very few contacts with college coaches. I always say that any exposure is good exposure, so if you want to do both, understand the difference. A showcase is really good to have as a reference point. They'll typically give you data, they'll also give you video. But keep in mind, before you go to these camps or showcases, you need to be in shape. You need to be in game shape. The coaches are going to watch you play, and if you're not in shape and you're not ready to go, they're not going to be interested in you. And on the flip side, on those showcase, those data metrics, that video, it's out there now forever, right? So if you go out and you put up bad numbers or a bad video, now that's out there in the world. Again, it's good to have as a reference point. My exit velocity was this. My 60 time was this. Here's a video I got there. At the end of the day, it's you who takes your recruiting into your own hands, does the research, contacts, and then uses the tools you have here at Slammers to help take that to the next level.
Do your research on your schools. Would you be okay going to this school if it did not have baseball for you? To me, that is the number one thing. Are you okay living in this area if baseball was not involved with this? What does the school's roster look like? What are their needs? Do they need your position? What kind of players do they recruit? Are they looking for pitchers? Are they looking for high-end hitters? What are their coaches like? You get along with those coaches. Could you see yourself spending the next 4 years with those coaches? Does the school have your academic wants? Make sure that school fits what you need for academics. If you're looking to be an engineer, don't choose a school that doesn't have a top engineering program. What does this school cost to attend? When you're looking at the school and cost, understand each school has 11.7 scholarships to give. There is no full ride in baseball. Again, that comes back to academics. Get as much academic money as you can. So choose a school that fits your academic and baseball needs together. If you're a warm weather person, you can't go to school in the Midwest and expect to be happy playing baseball there. I think academics is a huge factor in what you want to do as far as where you want to go to college. Most of us don't end up playing professional baseball. So we need to take a look at it from the academic side as far as what do I want to do with my future. It's great that you're getting to play college baseball and play it as long as you can, but the end goal here is to get that education and be prepared for life after baseball.
What can get you scratched off a list? So typically after the recruiting process has started, the contact period, or they've already contacted you, and they're going to come out to watch you, right? What are they going to look for? Obviously, your level of play is huge. Can you come in and play, at their level of baseball? But typically, there's going to be a group of guys that are similar, right, that they're trying to recruit. And they're going to go through a vetting process on you and try to figure out, who is the best fit for their college. So the first thing they're going to do, they're going to look at your social media. What does your social media look like? Is it something that if you were applying for a job, you would want that prospective boss to see? So clean up your social media. If you have locked accounts, there's always ways to get into them. number one, so keep that in mind. And number two, if a coach asks you to follow you or friend request you and you reject it or you don't follow up right away, that's going to obviously be a red flag and be a reason not to recruit you. Another big thing is the role of the parents. It's obviously big for you to guide them, to groom them, to prepare them, but at the end of the day, you have to let them do this. Remember, they're looking for mature, developed, independent young men that they can bring on campus and aren't going to cause problems, end up in the newspaper, and can be independent and self-sufficient. There's going to be very little contact between the coach and the parent, and typically at the very end when they're ready to talk, whether it's scholarship money or an offer or a walk-on opportunity, and really sell you that last section, typically then they'll bring the parent in. Also, when you're out at tournaments, please do not approach a scout. Do not approach them. Do not sit next to them and ask them or check their notes or stand behind their gun. They're working. They're vetting, like I said, your son, his teammates. Don't give them a reason or a bad taste, to not want to come watch that team play. We want them to be comfortable. We want them to stay. We want them to follow us throughout the tournament, right? As far as the players are concerned, or the things that they're going to watch when they come to see you, obviously how you play, right? If you can play at their level. And it's not always, what they see. I can't always tell you. They could watch a kid strike out the side 3 innings in a row and be not so sure. At the same time, I've seen, a kid swing and miss, and they look and they see bat speed and balance and good fundamentals and strength, and just from swinging and miss. So there are things. It's not the end of the world if you have a bad game. So how can you set yourself apart and understand when they're vetting you, other things that they're looking at? They're going to watch how you warm up. Do you warm up in a professional way, as if you're, preparing to play a big game, whether it's college or high school? How do you warm up? Then they're going to see things like, how do you react to success? Are you cocky? Are you arrogant? They're also going to watch how you react to failure. Your body language is bad. That's a great way to scratch you off the list. Do you spike a helmet? Drop a giant F-bomb? Things like that. They don't want to bring those kind of guys in. It sends the wrong message. And then one of the biggest things is they're going to watch how you interact with your teammate. Are you a team guy or are you a me guy? Remember, they're going to bring you into a locker room that's already established, typically 20 to 25 guys that have already been there, and 10 to 15 new guys. And they want to make sure that those new guys are going to mesh, as team first guys with the guys already there. That's a great way to get scratched off the list, and those are things that are really, really important.
Real quick about the 3 of us as well. Like I said, I'm going to be handling a lot of the administrative side of things, kind of the back end of things. I also will be out there in the forefront talking to college coaches as well, helping out and in teaching and education of how the process needs to go about. Scott Bauer is going to be a little bit more the active face, if you will, in reaching out to college coaches and speaking. All 3 of us will be doing that. Scott is going to be a little bit more on that end of things, and Garrett Duman is going to be kind of handling a lot of the video production, video coordination of things, some more of the technical side of things. All 3 of us are going to be kind of hand in hand with all the whole process too. We just kind of tried to delineate it out a little bit so that if there was need, we knew who to go to directly.
Hi, my name is Ron Hardy. My son's Wyatt Hardy, right-handed pitcher, class of 21, Washburn University commit. Wyatt was fortunate. He received 3 D1 offers, 6 D2 offers, and a JUCO offer. My first bit of advice would be take control of the recruiting process yourselves. We use sports recruits. We posted lots of video. We communicated with coaches directly from there. You cannot expect others to do the work for you.
It's just really important to be patient and trust your skills and trust that things are going to turn out all right with time and hard work. Put a lot of emphasis in the summer and fall, getting that exposure to college coaches, college programs, putting your name out there, emails, even early on sending emails to coaches, getting to camp.
The advice I'd give a high schooler going through the recruiting process would be to play hard every day. That always pays off. People will see that. People always respect someone who plays hard. that'll give you a chance to play at the next level.
Young athletes sell themselves short. They think no one's there or whatever it may be. You never know when someone's watching. So give it your all and play your best game as hard and as fast as you can.
Me and, just a young kid who, wanted to be a, collegiate athlete and perform at the next level. I was always looking ahead and thinking of the future instead of just staying in the moment and enjoying all the little things and being there with your teammates or, game days, walking down the halls and, just with your teammates, man. I mean, those were the great times. And
going back to it, expect to earn a spot. You're going to have to prove something. Like, it's not just BP. It's not just how hard you throw the ball. You're going to have to earn a spot on the baseball team. That didn't happen for me freshman year. Took me about 40 games to get in there. And so a big part of that is work while you wait.
The most important bit of advice I can give would be to take an honest assessment of your child's skill level versus top national competition. That will help you target the right level of school, whether it is a Power 5 or mid-major or D2, D3, or JUCO. That will really help you be more successful.
Be active in the weight room, even early on. Getting stronger is incredibly important to kind of spacing yourself out there and becoming a better baseball player. And it also goes a long way towards, keeping your body healthy, keeping yourself healthy, and keeping yourself on the field, which is really important.
The recruiting process takes a while, and just to be patient when you're in it. It's going to happen eventually, but you just got to be patient and just keep working hard. I think those are the biggest things.
I suggest setting goals as athletes because when you set a goal, it really drives you to reach those goals. And once you reach them, it's the best feeling in the world.
Got some good advice from Walt Weiss very early on, which is go where you're going to play. If you want to go pro, the pro scouts do not care what level. If you have the goods, you got the goods.
I was maybe a little too focused on looking to the future. And I feel like if I could go back and tell myself, my 16-year-old self, that, everything's going to work out, just control what you can control and the rest will take care of itself. And probably the biggest thing or the biggest result that a lot of high schoolers are concerned about is getting recruited. But I mean, man, just stay the course, work your tail off, and enjoy every second of it.
The best players don't always come from the D1. Our best player was a D3 player out of Pennsylvania, and he flat out raked and was better than every single D1 player in our first year of pro ball. So, I mean, it just shows you, like, D1 doesn't guarantee anything. And same thing, you just got to get better every single year as